So, what topic were we on last night?
Well, we were basically just going over everything, and then when Wes when Wes joined, like we just started to scream at him about all the nonsense.
It's like, Wes, you're gonna fucking play this game, and you're gonna love
Fucking
every second
play
of it. Enjoy it, have fun.
it!
And but
Smile!
Wes knows that playing video games is not meant for fun. To be
Uh,
a true gamer is to have no fun.
I will admit though, like it is actually one of those. Control is a weird one to talk about because, like, as like an action game, yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun. It's very well designed, but it's the kind of the game where you're gonna be missing a lot of its appeal if you're not trying to like really immerse yourself in the world, like read all the lore notes, listen to all the videos and audio tapes.
Yeah, I'll admit, like, that was something that I actually caught myself doing. Like, the game was longer for it because I got really, really invested in the world.
Yeah, like,
And I was just like, man, I can't wait to go read all of these case files. And then I'm just like, I found myself like skipping over anything that wasn't related to someone getting screwed over by something anomalous. Like, I just like, oh, okay, this dude was the guy. Oh, so like the guy in Darling's video and then the girl. Apparently, there was this little relationship or unrequited love where the male scientist was really, really into the female scientist and he asked her out on multiple occasions, and it was just kind of funny reading that.
yeah, like
It
she's
was
gotta turn him down in the most cordial way possible. Like, haha, yes, our professional relationship is quite amicable. I do appreciate your service.
and he didn't get it.
It's so
And then
fucking
like
good.
in the videos, you could just see how uncomfortable things were. And Darling was just none the wiser. He's just like, oh, whatever.
Darling
It's
doesn't
like
give a fuck. They're nothing to him.
Darling's sitting there playing like 82D chess. He's just like he's gone, man.
So actually, we should probably like introduce ourselves at the top here, just to make sure that people know what's up. So yeah, I am Doomed, one Doomed game critic, and this is my buddy Wiggle Room. We're gonna be using our aliases because we're cool
Yeah,
guys.
because I'm just some nondescript dude who hangs out on their forums
Hell yeah.
or in the Discord.
So we're one of the two people, like we're the only couple people who have good taste and played this year's Control by Remedy Entertainment, which was a kick-ass action game that sold like hot garbage.
Remedy, if you're listening to this and you decide to try and make another game, it better be a Control game, and you better not try and cash out on Alan Wake again.
Oh, they're
It's
gonna
dead.
do Alan Wake too.
Leave it. Leave it, Remedy. Just make Control, please.
Like, I think they really did hit the jackpot with Control. Like, this game is fucking phenomenal, and I would love to see more in this world.
Like, I enjoyed it more than okay. I enjoyed Control more, almost as much as I enjoyed the soundtrack to Alan Wake American Nightmare, and that's saying something. That
That's a
game
good
has a
soundtrack.
like it's like it's weird because it's like New Rock meets Ghost. So it's basically Ghost. Like it's like a new form of orchestra rock, and I love that. I like over the topness that is prophets. I mean poets.
Yeah, Post of the Fall.
Yeah, like I love how over the top they are. Like
Yeah, it's
they
like
all of their
it's like power metal or opera metal or whatever.
yeah, it's performance. It's all in the performance and the vocals and all of that. I adore that, which is why I like Ghost so much because that's basically what they are.
Basically. Actually, that kind of reminds me of okay. So you remember in Alan Wake? Because there's a lot of this. Basically, is Alan Wake 2 when you really get down to it, just far superior. But remember that bit in
Yeah,
Alan
no,
Wake
you're right.
where you had the concert segment where you went to the old stage of the Post of Fall,
Yeah,
Old Gods of Asgard. That's what the in-game band is
yeah,
called.
that's their alias in game.
Yeah, and you like just listen to a bunch of their music and follow a bunch of the Shadow Men.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like Control has a moment that's extremely similar to that with the Maze.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
the ad,
way
dude.
better.
That when this song started playing, I was like, "Fuck yeah, man! I'm feeling this." Like I was running through there. I'm just like, "Damn, dude, this is a great song." And then it blended so well. Like the choreography, it was choreographed so well with what was going on in the game.
it's a visual treat. Like that's a set piece. That is how you do visual set pieces.
It was like playing an interactive music video. It was good.
It was fantastic. Like, I haven't seen like music and gameplay merging that well since like fucking Doom.
Damn, now I want to go play it again. Like I still have to beat the end game because Jesus Christ, what the hell were they thinking when they made Tomasi and the Plant Beast so impossible?
Like, okay, so that is one thing. Like, if we're just gonna like talk negatives about Control, well, the game is great, and we're gonna talk about why the gameplay is great a lot. But the difficulty scaling in this game is pretty bizarre with how it works, where you have like nothing entities for a good chunk of it, and then out of nowhere, like you could access the plant moss by like the 6th main chapter of like 8.
And you can get one shot by the sniper plants. Dude, I got one shot so many times. I found the entrance and I'm like, oh dude, cool. I found a secret passage sniped. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, too bad.
I got just sniped instantly. I'm just like, come on, man.
And then you got those mold men that just vomit on you and all your health is gone.
Yeah.
It's great. Like the difficulty.
And then there's I understand what they were going for because you can upgrade yourself and you're supposed to upgrade yourself with certain things like the prime, like the special thing that you get for sacrificing the TVs to the furnace. Also, if you're listening to this podcast and you are not expecting us to spoil anything,
this is full spoilers.
You need to understand that you have tuned into a podcast talking about a game and you're an idiot otherwise. So
don't worry, like, I'll mark full spoilers at the beginning. Like if you don't know,
you should never tune into a podcast and then not expect the game to be spoiled.
Look, I guess this is gonna be like an hour or like 2 hours long. If you go into something that long, I don't know what to tell you, man.
And to get back to it, like. So you sacrifice the TVs to the furnace, and you get a crazy legendary mod that basically restores your ammo for your for the revolver or for the normal gun.
Yeah, the service weapon.
It restores it with each shot. So every time you get a headshot, you get another bullet, which effectively gives you infinite ammo so long as you only land headshots.
Exactly.
And they have only one of those things in there that I've been able to find, and I've basically 100% of this game aside from beating Tomasi and the plant. So
I almost beat the plant. I almost did it. I have a working strategy. I just gotta like grind my guy a little bit. I have to grind my Jessie.
Like, I mean, my Jessie's as high as she can go. I have everything. I have all of the abilities, all of the unlocks, all of the upgrades, and it's still so fucking hard. I need better what are they called?
The mods?
Yeah, the mods, the weapon mods. Like, I need better ones. And I also have a really nasty habit for not using the shield ever.
The shield's useless. Like, I was actually gonna ask that. Like,
it's not useless. It's amazing.
Really?
Like, yes, it's spongy. So let's say that it's at like the very it has like one rock floating in the air. It will absorb an entire hit. It absorbs the entire hit so long as it's there.
Okay, well, fuck what I was saying. I barely use shield. I just always through stuff.
That's apparently how you're supposed to fight the plant.
Yeah, that is how you do it.
And like I need to get back on and finish it so I can do the new content. But apparently you get better stuff in the new content. I need to go play that. I haven't
just
yet.
grind the new mercenaries mode or whatever it is, and just get a shitload of upgrades and just go.
Yeah, and you can also get the military gear, which is what I really want.
Okay, so I was gonna talk more about the weapons because it is very interesting to have an action game like this where you technically only have 3 guns.
You have 4. You have more than that. You have the pistol, the shotgun, the charge rifle, and then the sniper rifle. So yeah, you have 4.
Alright, so I was actually going to ask that because, like, here's the thing I was going to get to is the reason I said 3 is I found the charge to be next to useless.
The charge is useless, but
I found it
it's still there. It's
useless.
I don't know how to use it. Like, I understand how to use it, but there's never a situation where I'm like, let me just stand still and hold down this weapon or hold down this charge until I get a 3 charge. And okay, so I think the way that you use it is you're only supposed to fire one for one enemy, or you're supposed to use it to clear out people. It's honestly, it feels like it's CC. Like it's supposed to either knock down a group of people and give you a breather, or it's supposed to kill or wipe out a crowd of people.
It's either that, or if I remember correctly, it's supposed to be like armor takedown to pierce armor and shields and everything. But
No, the sniper rifle's for shields. The
Exactly.
charge is for snipers for shield. Yeah,
it's
like there's no
why
point.
would
Like
I use the
sniper
charge,
is the
then?
best gun in the game. Like the charge is ultimate. Like as far as I know, I could be wrong. Like I don't use the charge because it's just worthless. Like no, there's 5. There's the spin as well. We've completely forgotten the spin.
Oh yeah, the fucking rotator.
Spin!
Yeah, just pew 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 pew. Fuck that.
Dude, it's so good though. Like
No.
it chews through everything once you get it upgraded, man. That thing, it literally just chews through people.
Yeah, like I just stuck with the powered up shotgun for most of the game.
Yeah, the shatter is pretty good, but honestly, in my opinion, the best gun is the pistol as usual, like the base gun.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like it has the most variety. It's more versatile. Excuse me.
It can get headshots. It's immediately the best one.
I don't know. See, guns are good though, but the real best weapon is the telekinetic throw.
Yeah, they even tell you that the most damage output, the weapon that the most damage output you get is from the telekinetic throw.
Like, find me another game where you can jib motherfuckers by throwing like traffic cones at their head.
Find me another game where you can grab a motherfucker and then hit another motherfucker with the motherfucker. You can do that with the fully upgraded telekinesis.
You can just
grab. Yeah, you can grab like low health people and throw them at them.
Fucking ridiculous.
I'm gonna hit this motherfucker with this other motherfucker.
Also, like if we're just talking like upgrade progression, I find it very interesting how this is a fairly long game, all things considered, like for action game standards. It's like a 12-hour game, give or take, if depending on how much lore you're reading. And like you're getting upgrades all the way up to near the very end.
Yeah, I don't like. I like the upgrades because I think that I think they were expecting people to get invested in the game world and explore more, which is what happened. Like that's the path that I followed. Like
Yeah.
I straight up didn't even bother completing anything until like I have a thing where I'll complete like 4 missions and then I'll stop and I'll grind out, and then I'll complete another 4 missions, I'll stop, I'll grind it out, get some look around, invest in the lore, and then I'll go back to the main mission.
Yeah, it's like
Which is funny because apparently this game takes place in the span of I think 2 days.
which is ridiculous.
So no, not even that. Like I think it's like less than 24 hours is how long the game time is, but like it takes more than that. Like it takes like several hours.
Yeah, like I do appreciate that, but it's like because things excuse me. I think specifically what I was talking about is how you get the levitate, like really, really close to the very end. Now, that's a pretty significant upgrade and changes how combat goes.
Yeah, but I think that was so you didn't end up going to the plant place without actually having a little bit of help on you.
All right, so you don't get wrecked completely.
Yeah. I can understand why they didn't bother putting that in there sooner.
Oh, I'm not complaining. I think that's awesome. Like, because a lot of games like this just front load themselves with the upgrades. So by the time you get to the very end, like, there's just nothing. You're just going through the motions. And this one, the Control does not have that problem.
Well, the reason I appreciated it in Control is because Control's upgrades were substantial. They were never just, oh, hey, you got a damage increase. Oh, hey, you got some more max health. Good on you, buddy. No, it's more like, yo, dude, you're going to go and make a fucking deal with a merry-go-round that allows you to dash through the air. Dude, go make a pact with the devil. Man, you're gonna make a deal with a television that allows you to levitate.
You're gonna make deals with motherfuckers that allow you to possess other motherfuckers to become your enemies. So your minions.
Yeah, no, what was that? It was a calendar that did that. I remember
I
that. It
think
was the calendar that basically allowed them to possess people.
it's so good. Like, I think that's the thing is that every single upgrade, like, I thought shield was useless, but fuck me, I'm wrong. Every upgrade that you get is substantial and worthwhile, and is an entire new angle.
Yeah, I tell you, for the whole game until I got to this very end part, I swore that shield was worthless. Like I would have cast aside the shield for more damage. But now that I'm so sick of getting one shot by everything, I'm just gonna start abusing the shield. Like I apparently was mistaken.
Oh, but it's like that. Isn't that so interesting that they managed to make everything worthwhile, and you don't see that in games very often. Oh, oh, someone in the background there doesn't agree.
Hey, shut up. Sit. Good boy. But
Actually,
yeah. So I actually want to point out how straight up, how much of a badass the janitor has to be. Like, just the fact that this dude is able to make a call on what is essentially an interdimensional device that only the director is allowed to use. And even the director using it causes damage to him. Like, it gives them nosebleeds.
yeah.
And then there's just this janitor that's making a casual call on it.
I think you were saying the other day we were talking about this, like your idea that the janitor, and I actually kind of like this, that he was just the first person to ever find the oldest house.
Well, I think that the janitor was straight up just made by the oldest house. Like, I think that the janitor shares some sort of connection with it, because how else could he take a vacation in the house? The house that has actually been known to just like straight up swap around rooms and get people trapped and lost in it. I mean, the guy basically, I think that the house takes care of the janitor because the janitor takes care of the house.
Okay,
I
that's
think that's a
interesting.
better theory.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's the one who's going around requesting you sing to the plants, you look after the mold problem.
But yeah, then there was I really like Trench, if only because I like how there was a record that basically said no smoking in the panopticon. And then Trench comes in there on a visit and starts smoking a cigarette, and the jailer who has the cleft lip,
Yeah.
he basically says, "Sir, there's no smoking in the panopticon." And then Trench just looks at him, takes a draw of the cigarette, and then it says, "So what are we looking at?" It just ignores him. It's basically like saying, "This was my house, man."
Are you gonna fucking tell the director that he can't smoke in his own fucking building? Like, it's his company.
It's not even his company. That's the thing. It's just that he's the director. I mean, he can make a rule that says I can only the director can smoke. But yeah. I also like how just okay. So to make an illusion, or I guess to say that the FBC, which is the Federal Bureau of Control, is basically the SCP Foundation, is 100%. It has to be exactly that, because the FBC is literally just as incompetent as the SCP Foundation. Because okay, they go to another dimension, the red sand dimension in the slide, and this is how the hiss gets into the world, because the hiss infects Trench, and they basically, the top minds of this world, the elite of the elite scientists, the smartest beings on the planet, just straight up say, it must just be a headache. This loud noise, this man who is a seasoned veteran for handling anomalous objects and AWEs and altered items, straight up falls to his knees and claims there's something wrong with me, and then they just write that shit off like it's nothing.
Just give him like a physical. It's like, he's fine. He's fine.
And then like he starts, like in the beginning, you can see how he starts to become like erratic because the hiss is manipulating him and it's making him believe that everyone's out to get him. And then Darling just locks himself up, and he's just like, man, I gotta prepare for the worst. I'm like, dude, you could have just opened up the slide and then shoved his ass back in there like 100 times ago, because there's no way, like what, like a year ago, whenever he got infected, like there's no way that they didn't figure that out.
It's a gradual
Like,
thing. It had to have been, but no one would have paid attention because like it's a bureaucracy. And are you going to question the guy right above you who signs your paycheck?
yes, I mean that's the point. That's the point. If the director becomes anomalous, then you have to basically seal away the director.
Yeah,
I mean, remember that's what they were.
Rank, bro.
There is no rank. I mean, but see, that's the thing though, is that even Trench admitted that something was wrong and he felt off, but no one would listen, and he wouldn't. Even if they did listen, Trench would never have said anything about it. Like, I'm just like looking at this and I'm just like, guys, listen. Sometimes you gotta talk about your feelings when lives are at stake.
Well, I think, like, not to get to the big thing, obviously, like, for thematic shit, I'd have to sit on this for a lot longer than, for at least a couple playthroughs.
I mean,
more.
yeah, for the sake of telling a story, I can believe it, but I'm just like, come on, man.
I think there might be.
You
like,
don't have to take the easy way out.
Where it's like, the whole idea is the game is about micromanaging and over control. Like, being a control freak, essentially, is what leads to everyone's ruin. Because they're all trying to manage their own little slice of the bureau.
I don't. There were some things that made me believe that, and then some things didn't. Some things that don't, because after a certain point, you kind of have to come to terms and say, "Hey guys, listen, I think shit's kind of fucked." You know?
See, that's true.
Darling's roaming around the place naked, slowly losing more clothes as he goes,
and just handing out these fucking devices.
And then leaving people with some ominous message saying you'll know when the time comes. Okay. All right there, Papa John's. Let me know when the day of reckoning's on the way.
Oh, God, that's the most terrifying fucking interview. Just off topic for a second.
Just straight up look in there as I was like, don't worry, the day of reckoning is coming.
It's like, is there just a fucking pizza cult now?
Then the record will be set straight. The Akashic records of the Za, of the pizza.
God damn it, it's terrifying.
But yeah. Now, like, I like Control. I mean, I adore Control. I also like how Polaris, it was Hedron, and that was... I hated that mission. The mission where you had to basically save Polaris or Hedron from the hiss that was going to infect it.
It was just the fact that there was no checkpoint after the massive satellites.
Yeah, then you had to straight up keep climbing and climbing, and if you died, you started back at the bottom.
Yeah, it's like, have fun. At least it was only 3, because for a second I thought they were going to do a 4th one, and I just had this moment of looming dread.
Yeah, no, I was just like, no, I can't. I don't want to do this. Did you you remember the clock mission, right? The
clock
and the sealed threshold. That was I liked that. The clocks that just keep multiplying, and then it turns out to be like some crazy ass entity that's controlling the clocks, like the old one.
It's so fucking ridiculous. Like, you just get to that room, and it's like the entire first floor is suffocated with clocks.
I hated the clock fight too. The clock boss. I hated that fight.
It sucks. But okay, so that is one slight downside I have Control, is that not a lot of the bosses are that good. I appreciate the effort, but
yeah, like the game excels in having an open environment to run around and have fun. And use the environment to your advantage, not to lock you in a tiny little room and then expect you to dodge moves and do all this crazy stuff. Like
the regular boss
fights, like the big boss fights were just they weren't that good.
Yeah, the regular enemy encounters are great. Like the way combat works is really smooth. It's fucking dreamy.
Yeah. Okay, so the first fight with Tomasi, that was a great fight.
Yeah,
that's how all the fights should have been. Where a big open room for whenever you do take damage, you can go like, well, shit, I better run.
And it's like most of the game's actual combat encounters with the regular enemies are like that. So it's kind of frustrating when you get something like the fridge boss is another example, where it's
Oh
like,
god, I hated that where the
fuck you,
floor
open
kept
floor.
disappearing beneath me.
Yeah, have fun.
I think I actually remember that. I remember getting upset in that fight. I'm like, I want you to find me the developer, whoever it is that was in charge of this particular boss fight. I want them to have to sit and do this boss fight for the next 3 days and do nothing else but fight this boss. I
Just
want you to
stare
tell
at
me
the
this was a
screen.
good idea.
Just have like a member of Remedy sitting in their room, staring at their PC monitor, just playing this boss over and over. I can't
like,
look
now tell me,
away.
it's like which part of this fight was the worst? Was it the fact that the boss can two-shot you? That's understandable. I don't mind that. I can get good. Was it the part where every time the boss did a certain move, you would lose the floor beneath you? That was very annoying. Or was it the second part of the fight, where the second encounter, where you actually had to just swap entire stages in the middle of the fight? Like you had to jump from like several different platforms just to fight this stupid thing. I hated that.
I just spammed throw so fast that I just, as fast as I possibly could, just...
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I kept using telekinesis, and then I didn't have the ability to levitate to dash with my levitation. So
Yeah,
I didn't
it keeps
have.
fucking you.
So I'm just like, do I do damage or do I get away?
But another thing that I do appreciate, like, if we're just talking like the moment-to-moment stuff, like, it's been a while since I've seen like a third-person action game that has a really nice world design like this.
Yeah, I like how it felt like an actual office. Like, I really do.
Yeah, it's like it's weird because like it plays like it is like a good video game level design, but it doesn't feel like a video gamey game. If that makes any sense. Like I could see people working at this hellhole.
Oh yeah, no, like I'd imagine that it must be like terrible. Like you figure out that you're going there, and then everyone's just like, "Yeah, man. By the way, you don't leave the oldest house. Like you don't exactly get out of here."
Yeah, it's like have fun.
It's like, hey, I hope you enjoy your incarceration there for the rest of your natural life.
Like it is pretty terrifying.
What was the? It was the Seaside View Hotel, right? That's what the place that what's her that
Yeah.
she would jump between, right?
It's that motel you keep going back and forth between.
I really like that because I like how it's it alludes to the fact that the hotels like that are like conduits of power. So like they're all different kinds like of oldest houses. So the hotel is like where your mind goes in order to find the other houses. It's like it's the terminal.
Okay, so it's kind of like sort of like Twin Peaks with how the Red Room works.
Yeah, so you get transported via one door, which is the door that leads you to the oldest house. But you basically pull the pull cord 3 times, then you're transported, and you exit through the oldest house door because that's the last place you were, and then you see all the other doors. Those are all other places just like the oldest house.
Okay,
And they could be in different universes for all we know.
They could just be in
That's what all the
world.
symbols mean and all that.
Yeah, so it's like, actually, I kind of want to go back and count. How many doors are there?
I believe that there are 4 doors on each side.
And then there's the janitor's door.
Yeah.
So that's like 9.
Hang on. I'm going to actually look it up.
Because, like, if there is, you can kind of make a... Like, obviously, I need to brush up on my...
It's the Ocean View Motel. Huh.
That's a Silent Hill reference.
Of course, IGN. I like how you deny me access because I refuse to look at your filthy fucking ads.
Haha. The more I think about it, I think Ocean View Motel might be a Silent Hill reference to the Lakeview Hotel.
Yeah, that's what I actually almost called it that the other day. Whenever we were talking about it, I almost said the Lakeview Hotel by accident.
Sick fucking just Silent Hill 2 shit. Because if it is 9 doors, then obviously, like, I need to brush up on my Norse mythology a little bit. But could you make a link to the whole 9 realms and the world tree, which it makes that Yggdrasil comparison towards the end when you go to the Foundation.
Like I honestly believe it's on like the branch of that.
Yeah,
and like you made the reference to the House of Leaves.
And yeah,
I
Sam
believe
Lake
that
loves that book.
Yeah. Because whenever you get to the finished Tango mission, with this basically the Foundation mission,
yeah,
that they have that little mural on the side of it. You know, as a matter of fact, I can just boot the game up right now. I wish there was a way that I could screen share it with you, but I actually have to go fact check something.
No, fair enough.
So, I don't know if I want to fully invest in the belief that Control is basically, or the oldest house takes place in one of the branches of the World Tree, because I honestly don't think Sam Lake is that heavy-handed. Like, you know, he's not that on the nose. Like,
yeah, like
even though I know that's not true because we've all played Alan Wake.
Well, don't forget Max Payne had like all those Ragnarok nightclub, the Valkyrie's rug. So they always had like super heavy-handed Norse stuff in all their games. Oh,
all right,
shit.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
I don't know what happened with that. Apparently, Discord just decided to crash on me. So
hooray! Everyone's favorite thing.
Okay, hey guys, just so you know, we're not doing this professionally. We just opened up a chat room in Discord.
I'm not a professional. I don't make money doing this.
It's true. You're just here for the clout.
I'm here
just
for
like me.
the exposure.
Yeah, man. I'm here just so that the day that I ever decide to commit to YouTube, which will probably be never, but, you know, I'll have some internet clout. You know, that one jerk off on the podcast.
Yeah, you'll have something. You'll have a view.
But yeah, so it's strange. Like I said, I don't want to say that Sam Lake is a very on the nose guy, but you know, he kind of is.
I've always kind of, like, I think I said this in the Alan Wake video. I've always kind of viewed Sam Lake as kind of like the Western Hideo Kojima, except he can actually write.
Don't say that. Oh man, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Kojima.
I don't. Fuck him.
His grasp far extended his actual reach. Like, he went and made a game he thought he could make, and he messed up. And this is his first failure. He's gonna have to. I hope he comes back.
I don't know. I'll be interested to see where this goes, but considering that Sony refuses to disclose both the Death Stranding's budget and its total lifetime sales figures a month and a half after launch, I think this didn't do very well.
I mean, I can tell you it didn't do very well. The man got an $80,000 statue. So I can tell you the game is operating at a financial loss.
Oh god, like I don't even care about Death Stranding anymore. I'm glad that it's been talked to death. I'm glad everyone's over it so we can move on to things that actually matter. But the one thing about Control, like, it's a weird comparison to make to it as a game, but this, in a weird way, this reminded me a lot of Arkham Asylum. I was
gonna say that too, but you know why, right? It's because Arkham Asylum was very clinical in its map layout and very claustrophobic and very office-like. It wasn't office-like, but the labs of Control felt very, very clinical. And it always felt like you were observing, instead of observing inmates, you were observing anomalies and test subjects. So it was essentially just like that. Like, I felt like I was watching a cartoon or watching a TV show about people.
I can feel that. It's because I think the comparison, especially with Arkham, to me, is that I think there's a review of Arkham Asylum, and for the life of me, I cannot remember who said this, so forgive me. If I find the guy who made this video, I'll link it in the description or whatever. But he made a point about Arkham Asylum that kind of is interesting, is that Arkham sucks, but it's not because of the Joker ruining it. Like, Arkham clearly was shit for years and years and years leading up to the events of that game. And this is just another day.
Is basically, like, I mean, what happens whenever you take a bunch of the Gotham's worst villains and you stick them in one place? A hierarchy is going to become it's going to form, and then you're going to have to hire even worse people than the criminals to deal with the criminals. So you're essentially hiring criminals to deal with criminals.
And it's like, yeah, exactly. Like, Arkham just becomes this hellhole. And I think the Bureau has something similar going on, where the more and more they got anomalous material they got and they had to contain, the worse and shittier a workplace it became.
Yeah, because I think that as they started collecting them, they started realizing just how insignificant we are. Like, the fact that anything like this can exist just blows the human the human existence out of proportion. Like, you have a television that has achieved flight whenever humans have. It took us years to do it. Like, how do you compete with that? We're dealing with genuine monsters.
I think the vibe, especially I appreciate, is that the hiss, obviously, just because we're following Jesse's perspective, they make a big deal out of the hiss, but no one else is that fazed by it, because this is just another day.
Yeah, I think that, part of it's also, like you said, they're just used to it. Like, this is just another world-ending scenario that's happened in 100.
Yeah, it's like, oh, and especially the best part is the mold. Like, the mold is a world-ending scenario. That's a fucking side quest. You can skip that entire thing.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here in the game, and I'm looking at I'm in the Foundation.
All right.
And, dude, this is legitimate. Like, it has, a door, a bunch of roots, and a tree with 5 branches on each side.
Yeah, okay, so it is straight up, it's Yggdrasil.
It is just straight up Yggdrasil. Like, it looks like a tree with roots going down into the ground, which would be the Foundation. So, yeah. The Foundation beams, or the beams in the Foundation, basically look like they're saying that they're the roots of the oldest house. Damn.
I could believe that. It's Ash Lake, basically, for another visual comparison.
Yeah.
And
whenever you get here, Jessie says something about it just as fucking stupid and ignorant as she actually is. Like, I like how
Jessie's
dumb Jessie kind of is.
Leave her alone.
She's a good girl, but man, is she dumb as fuck. Like, Jessie is just... You can tell that she's just here based off of sheer innate ability alone. Like, thinking ain't her thing, but man, is she strong.
Yeah, now obviously here's the poem from the very last page of House of Leaves that implies that the whole thing is a variant of the World Trade. So it's like, I could see the massive influence that Sam took from that.
I mean, I like what he did with it. Like, he was good with it.
I think it's awesome. I think almost all the times he has made a story in a game that's really about something, he does it well. Like, Max Payne 1 is mostly just kind of like, hey, remember this noir trope? Now let's make it funny or silly or whatever. And it's like, Max Payne 1's more a little tongue-in-cheek. But then you got, Max Payne 2, which is way more meta in its presentation. And you got Alan Wake, which is straight up just, that is the House of Leaves of video games. And then you got this, which is the most interesting take on creepypasta SCP shit that I've ever seen.
Yeah, like, I really hope that, I wish that some of the better writers from the SCP wiki would come to write with Control, but I know them. I know the people in the SCP, and now that they've already had to deal with one copyright issue, man, I can tell you that they're too jaded to help at all anymore. Like, the thing about Control that it lacks is very interesting documentation. Like, it's not all that interesting to read, but it's interesting to see what they're doing. Like,
the world.
I would like something more than anomalous objects. Is what I'm saying.
I would like more of what happened with Alan Wake, considering that's an altered world event. Like, go more into those. Those are interesting.
Give me people. Give me like fucking the devil doing a little dance on a stage. Like,
just have a guy in prison, like just a regular dude, but it's like, I don't know, he has some weird, stupid power.
Yeah, like just something stupid and cool.
Yeah, like that is one thing SCP does have over it, is that there's more variety in what the objects are.
Yeah. Where was? But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff in here that I enjoy, but at the same time, I can see. I wish they would have. I understand why they didn't invest too much in it, because I have a feeling they weren't expecting this game to be as good as it is.
Yeah, it is. I know for a fact they probably weren't expecting it to sell that well, because like it wasn't marketed well. It's a like 505 Games, which is a literally Who publisher.
But then again, like it's funny too, because the guy who does Alan Wake's voice is just he puts all his heart into the acting here.
Oh, the voice acting is really good in this game, like across the board.
Just the acting in general, like they did videos of him.
Yeah, it's all really good across the board. I mean, also I appreciate the little nod. Did you notice that the guy who voiced Trench was Max Payne?
Yeah, I noticed that. That's the whole reason
fun.
why I liked the very end of it. Whenever he was playing the electric keyboard guitar.
It's like fucking Alan Wake and Max Payne just make a stupid music
video. I'm just
video.
like, man, this is all I ever wanted. This is what I wanted for Christmas.
Okay, that song is legit catchy.
Oh, it is. She's dynamite.
It's so fucking good. So what I want to know is,
just the same.
like,
You got a knock on your door, a bump on the floor, and then you go insane, and you'll call out her name. I know the whole fucking song, man.
You should. It's awesome. So
she opened up the door like dynamite.
I have a question.
But anyway.
I have a question about that song.
What?
Is that Jessie's Imagination? Are Darlene and Trench recording that from the afterlife, or did they record that while they were alive?
I want to say, like, she says that it's all in her head. Like, that's what happens in the Ocean View Hotel. Like, that's like the inner space between you being transferred somewhere else and being inside your head.
Yeah.
But remember, this was whenever she got basically killed by the Hiss. So, I don't know what was going on with that. Like, I guess that her soul must have been, her body must have been just like kind of traveling back and forth between dimensions, or just her being, her essence. And then that's why she assumed it was in her head. It's very, very vague, but the canon that I like is that Darling and Trench ended up in another dimension when they died, and that was them trying their best to motivate her. And
they're just making it for fun. That's fucking great.
Yeah, like it was them trying to motivate her from across space and time.
That's it. That's the headcanon. In the afterlife or whatever, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, dude. Like, and it's funny because they never say that Darling died, but man, we know Darling died. We know he did. He was able to bang Polaris, and then he just opted out.
Yeah, just, he banged her into the nonsense dimension.
Had sex with God. GG. See you later.
I mean, that was, I don't know, like it's extremely charming, all the presentation.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I like it. Like, I can tell when they put effort into something.
Yeah, like that entire puppet show that is there exclusively to
Oh
be
God.
weird.
It was literally the story of Jessie and and her brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was just like, and then the puppet show for like the very beginning where she was just like saying, "Don't worry, I'll be here for you." I'm just like, were those sexual overtones? What?
I don't know. It's
Like,
just all unnerving and weird. It's
like
great.
it was like she was trying to be menacing or not, but I was just like looking at it. I'm just like, that sounded really sexual. Like that sounded like implying something.
Well, hey, look. The next generation of directors ain't gonna just come out of nowhere.
I mean, at this point, she might as well just live forever. Like I'm fairly positive she can.
Yeah, fuck it, just be immortal. Well, to be fair, like, they had other guys in the running to be director, apparently. Like, Alan Wake, they wanted to have him as director, but he's stuck in a lake or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. I actually never beat Alan Wake because I got to the cool part, or I guess the fun part, which was basically near the end of the sawmill. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm done here because the sawmill sucked. I hated that place.
It gets redundant. Like, I like Alan Wake, I think it's pretty decent, but, like, it gets really repetitive towards the end.
Yeah, like I know at the end, Alan gets he basically sacrifices himself and is forced to stay behind because he's technically tied to the being of the lake. So like he has no choice but to stay. And he's stuck there
Yeah.
for all eternity writing stories that no one's gonna read.
Like, I always, like, my reading on that ending, just, like, minor Alan Wake things, basically my read on it is Alan Wake is a shitty writer, and he writes himself into a corner because he thinks he's writing a horror story, and he has to write a horror story. So rather than use, like, the infinite possibilities to just make himself God mode and walk out, he adheres to a genre and just traps himself in a corner. And that's how Alan Wake ends.
Yeah, I believe that.
I don't know. But apparently, yeah, he's in the run to be director. So, okay, what the fuck
Wait,
is
where
that?
does it say that? Like,
There is like
where does it say that? Like,
notes where they were like openly monitoring him as a potential candidate.
let me go. I gotta go read the collectibles.
Yeah, I could be mistaken. I could be mistaken about that, but I do remember there were notes where like they were openly monitoring him for some kind of position in the bureau, if not the directorship.
And it was because he was basically tied to the god or whatever, the god of the lake.
Yeah, which he technically created.
Yeah, that was funny. I like how he was basically responsible for all of that.
So good.
But what were you about to say? Before I
Yeah,
cut you
but
off?
I was wondering, like, have you looked at the DLC teasers?
Yeah.
That last piece of DLC, the little artwork they posted for it, that looks like the cover of Alan Wake.
Yeah, I think it was.
And
Actually.
Remedy has the rights to Alan Wake back. They got it back around time Control came out.
Yeah, why did they get rid of it in the first movie? Why did they sell it?
I think Microsoft owned it, and then they had a shitload of licensing issues with it for years and years on end, and now they have it back because Microsoft doesn't want to do anything with it.
Well, that's good. I hope that I hope in the next game we get to play as our boy Alan.
I'd be fine with like Jessie coming back just because, if nothing else, she's more fun to play as than Alan. But I would love just it. I just like the concept of a lot of the stuff Alan Wake did and that world, and merging it with the way Control works. I'd be very interested to see that play out.
Yeah, I like how irrelevant the board of directors of the board becomes because they all get taken over by the hiss, and then at the very end they're just like, "Hey, good job, good job, good job." I'm just like, they're still infected with the hiss, right? Like, they never got uninfected.
I mean, look, don't worry about it. It's not like they're the board of directors or anything. They're not important. Don't worry, it's fine.
I did enjoy them getting taken over by it. That was good. I'm like, good. I wonder what they look like, but do I really care? No.
They probably look like the Fridge Monster.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like, hey, look, it's the diet. Dude, I like how the Fridge Monster looks exactly like the brain things in Half-Life 2.
Okay, I can see it. Just a big one. Just a big old boy.
Just the big old boy. Just a.
I don't know, like it's kind of interesting how. Admittedly, I do like one thing about that sequence at the end is that the board just starts panicking and says, "Oh, here's a bunch of power bumps," and you can just like two-shot every enemy now.
Yeah, and then they were. I like how whenever they were officially taken over, they were just like, "Don't worry, we're fine. Don't worry, you don't need to come help us. The directors are safe." And I'm just like, bullshit. I know that the hiss got him, man.
You were panicking for God knows how long. I don't know. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like, I love this game. It's great. There's only little things that are kind of annoying about it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of irrelevant. Like, it handles its upgrades well. The actual moment-to-moment combat's a lot of fun. Its world design is great. The lore is interesting. It's very well written. Like, I was not expecting, because, well, it does lack a lot of, like, strong theming and everything. Like, the actual writing quality is the best Remedy's ever done, probably.
Yeah, and that's why I have hope for whenever they inevitably forget about Control and start focusing on Alan Wake, because Sam Lake loves his self-inserts. So, come on. You can't tell me that Alan Wake is not a literal self-insert for
He
Sam.
is a self-insert. He's 100% a self-insert.
Like, and I just, like, he's going to hardly just go right back to that.
Oh, he's ready. He's ready and willing. It's like, if anything, that DLC for Control is just going to be teaser for Alan Wake 2. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, like at the very end of it, it's going to drop you in the middle of a lake, and you're just like, well, darn.
Well, wait like 5 or 10 years for the game to come out. Have fun.
I'll be straight up like 36 when it gets done.
Yeah, it takes so fucking long for it to actually come out. But fuck it, I'm ready. I'd be down for a sequel. But honestly, yeah, like, this is just another really strong Remedy game in a line of really strong games they've already made.
Yeah, if you like good fluid combat, you like ripping things. If you like being a Jedi with a pistol, this is the game for you.
Yeah, it's the Jedi with the power of gun.
Yeah, it's literally like a Jedi with common sense. It's like, hey, let me take a pistol and just, shoot people. Oh, you got me there. That's exactly what Jessie is. She's literally a Jedi with a pistol. But she uses the Force. Yeah. It's kind of weird. But we might have to do a part 2 of this, because I'm sure after the DLC comes out and we play it, we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah. Like, actually, like, that's the question, is, like, when the DLC, like, the story DLC, not the current thing they have right now, do you want to do it, like, piece by piece? Like, we'll do it every individual bit in, like, mini videos? Or wait until all 3 of them or all 2 of them come out, and then just power through them?
I think it depends. Let's see what kind of content they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, if it's significant, then we'll do it, like, one by one.
Yeah, because if we get another photo mode, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know it is a campaign. I know it straight up is a campaign in March or April that's coming out. That's legit.
So I only heard that they were doing the jukebox trials, and that's the only one. I didn't know they were doing another one.
They're doing legit campaigns. The jukebox trials are the DLC that's just out right now, but next year they're coming out with actual campaigns, to my knowledge.
That's cool. I'm proud of them for actually sticking to it.
Yeah, and one of the campaigns is implied to be an Alan Wake teaser, so, fucking fingers crossed at that.
Oh, I want to play it. I want to play it, but I know that I don't want to go and. I want to do the DLC, but I also don't because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to be dissatisfied with time trial mode, and I hate combat trials. I hate them.
I'll play time trial like closer to when the actual stuff comes out, so I'm not burnt out and let down by basically just I don't know like the fucking RE like raid mode from Revelations or whatever.
Yeah, that was awful. I wish they would. They need. It sounds weird. I wish they would do like a. I wish there was better customization for guns. Like, instead of just getting an upgrade, you could just slap on the next best thing. I wish they would go more in depth with that in the upcoming DLC. I want more special upgrades, is what I'm saying. Like,
No, that's understandable.
I want to be able to throw a goddamn fireball.
I agree.
Let me form a contract with a toaster so I can shoot fireballs. Come on.
Yeah, I am pretty interested in that. I don't know what else I have much to say on Control. It's just insanely good.
Yeah, you should play it. It's worth it.
What a goddamn shame that it didn't catch on. What a crying fucking shame.
Well, I mean, it was a lot like, remember, Okami didn't get any praise at all until I think like a year after it was made, and then people started just holding it up on its laurels, just like, oh, this is a wonderful game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we pretty much talked about all there is to Control for right now.
Yeah, honestly. That's about all I can explain about it. You have any last thoughts?
Good game, buy it. It's worth your money.
Extremely fun, really good game.
If you like playing as a gun-toting Jedi and then literally just killing people and then watching their heads explode into like red dust, play this game. It's worth it. But yeah, other than that, that's about all I got.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for watching, everyone, and that concludes our thoughts on Control.